Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So, just recently it came out in the media that the former football player by the name of Stacy was sentenced to 6 months of jail time for brutally attacking and beating the mother of his child. Now, that situation actually just happened, I want to say within like the last year or so. So, this is pretty recent that this happened. And she was having trouble, getting the authorities involved, whatnot. Now, to make a long story short, allegedly, and I say heavy on the allegedly, he claimed, I guess after he had gotten arrested finally that first time, to the authorities, to the police, that she had cheated on him with somebody. I'm not 100% sure who it was, but he claimed that she was cheating on him with somebody and that he had went down to wherever she was to help her, I guess, with the child because they have a child together, and that he also was going to tell her that he didn't want to be with her anymore, something along those lines. And he also claimed that she was trying to, I guess, bait him or provoke him or whatever. And I'm struggling to understand, somebody who has that much power over you to provoke you to do something like that. You have a problem if that's the case. You need help. You need a licensed therapist. You need Jesus. Seek help expeditiously, because there's no excuse for you beating up another human being, especially a weaker human being, so to speak. And there were people talking about the video of it that was online. I think it has been taken down from some platforms because it was so brutal. I haven't seen the video. I've only seen pictures and I don't want to see the video. But the people who did see it basically described it as savage and brutal. And in the article that's going to be linked in the description, they said that she had all kinds of contusions on her face, on her body, on her legs. She had a bruised torso. Thank goodness it wasn't worse than that. But to make things worse, her child was present. They have at the time, the child was 5 months old. Their 5-month-old was sitting in the high chair watching while all this was going on. So I know some people might say, oh, it was just a 5-month-old. They probably don't even remember. That's a load of hogwash, okay? That child is probably still deeply traumatized by that, unconsciously traumatized. Just because they don't remember doesn't mean the trauma isn't still there. And that's very saddening. Like I said, I don't know what happened between the two of them, but the fact that he had such a lack of self-control and that he did that to her and in front of their child, like that speaks volumes of the kind of man that he is. And on top of that, what if he would have turned his rage onto the child? Like I said, thank goodness it wasn't as worse as it could have been. Although when somebody is like that and they're going into rage mode and they're just, throwing punches, the child could have gotten, caught up into that. So like I said, that's what makes this situation even worse. Now, during the time after, he did that, and even with it caught on film, y'all, she was having trouble getting this man arrested. She even put out a post where she was basically trying to tag the president and the vice president to help her. I don't know what that was going to do, but to try and help her, get justice and have this man arrested for attacking her in their house in front of their child. And she was having a hard time getting anybody's attention, which is shocking to me for certain reasons. And I'm not going to go into it. Like, it's shocking to me that she couldn't get the help she needed for the obvious reasons. But eventually, like now, basically, almost like I said, I want to say like a year later or so, finally she gets, that help that she needs. And they only sentence him to 6 months in prison. And I think part of that may have had to do with him being, well, she claimed that he went to behavioral therapy, which is what he needed, that he's been seeing his child, and he's been FaceTiming his child. And in my mind, in these situations, I always ask, so is the person doing all of this because they are trying to do better? Or are they doing this because they want people to see them in a different light so they can reduce their sentence so that, this person who they abuse can let their guard down so they can do it again? I just feel like when you're in these kinds of DV situations, you have to move carefully. I don't care what anybody says when it comes to men putting their hands on women. And like I've said before on this channel, I don't support women putting their hands on men either. So either way it goes, if somebody puts their hands on you, like, the relationship is over. You need to pack your bags and leave. You need to involve the authorities to the best of your ability, and you need to escape. Save yourself and your child. Your life and your child is more important than you trying to keep up some relationship that's going to the trash anyways, because that person doesn't want to keep their hands to themselves. 9 times out of 10, some of these same people, they do not get the help that they need to get. Yeah, they end up in jail, And they need to be away from that person. Although she even did mention that, like, she didn't want him necessarily to go to jail or prison, which is absurd to me. But she did mention, jail doesn't reform people, that he needs some kind of behavioral, reformation, and that jail couldn't give him that. But at the same time, anybody who beats you like that, your life is in danger. Like, I really am afraid for that young woman and her child. Like, the problem is, whatever he has in his heart that he feels towards her, those negative, malicious emotions, I even dare say near demonic, those don't just go away overnight. Like, unless he does some serious changing, and like I said again, I keep saying this in all my videos, it takes therapy in Jesus. Like, y'all might not believe that, but some people don't treat people right unless they have God in their life, unless they know there's a higher power that they have to answer to, and who will hold them accountable for their actions no matter what. They will not treat people right, which is why I constantly say therapy in Jesus, because people don't believe, especially black people don't believe in therapy. I don't know what we have all kinds of issues going on. Nobody wants to do therapy. There's a word in Webster's dictionary that describes you doing the same goofy stuff over and over again, expecting different results without trying something new. These same people be mocking therapy, but that therapy and Jesus is what's going to save some of these people. But they have to also be willing to want to change. So some of these people, they don't want to change. And like I said, when your life is on the line, like, you can't play with your life, and especially not with your child's life. Like, she has a son. And if anything happens to her, what's going to happen to her son? Like, does she have any relatives that would be willing to raise him? And then you got to think about the fact that he's a biracial child. So is he going to go to his black family or his white family? And what's going to happen to him? What's going to become of him, whether he goes which way or the other one? Like, she needs to be here to raise her child. And like I said, most people who are involved with DV, and like I said, they are physically hurting other people, that doesn't just go away overnight. And a lot of these people don't want help, and they don't get the help that they should be responsible as a mature adult to go get the help that they need, knowing that they have done something heinous to somebody. But 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. And you cannot put your life and your child's life on the line trying to reform somebody. Because she was saying, hey, I'm all for reform. I didn't want him to go to jail because I wanted him to get the help that he needed. And one moment, like I said, when she was getting beat up, she was talking about, somebody please help me. Well, I want the police help me. It's a slap in the face. And I called the police, and they were consoling him, which was ridiculous. And then now she's kind of changed her tune, saying that she wants, she doesn't want him to go to jail or prison or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like this is another situation. Like, she's giving, I'm going back to the guy who just, abused me, so to speak. And I'm not saying she's getting back in a relationship with him, but I feel like she's trusting him a little too much. Like I said, when it comes to your life being in danger, some people, there's very few people who you can trust to go back to that won't take advantage of that and do the same thing they did that made you have to get away from them to begin with. Like, I feel like she's being naive in a sense with this aspect. Yeah, like, he needs help, but again, like, was he thinking about help when he was pounding you into the ground? I'm just saying. Like, I know she wants to help him. I get it. But her wanting to help him is not going to help if he doesn't want that help. And he doesn't show and display that he does want help and that he is actually changing. I just feel like it's a unsafe position to put oneself in, because there have been too many people, too many women who have given their abusers and, men who have beat them into oblivion second chances, being naive, talking about, let's just help him. No, let some other men help him that can hold him accountable as a man, that he can't beat up on and get away with it. How about that? That's how you can help him. But there's been too many women out here who've done that and then gotten beaten up worse or lost their lives. So I just, this situation just looks shady for me. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve help. He does. But like I said, one must go about this situation in a very, very safe manner. And he had that time, while he was out there, not getting arrested for beating her up and her having video evidence, then he should have been thinking about, oh, you know what I did was wrong. Let me go get some help. But I do still believe he needs to be in prison for what he did. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all have a blessed and safe day.